pulled the IGN article. This is funny. Just this is hilarious. Disney, stop announcing Star Wars movies and make one. Now, you can leave out, I'll fix the headline. Stop announcing Star Wars movies. That's all you need.
Yeah, I would like to welcome IGN over to the racist, toxic, sexist crowd.
Sexic?
Sexic. I can't say all these fucking words anymore.
The invitation if you can fucking pronounce it.
So why we should stop paying attention to Star Wars news.
Oh, dude.
Okay. Is that why you're writing a fucking article on it, by the way? How about Disney just does a good job and listens to the fan base and not fuck this up? How about that?
Yeah, dude, that'd be nice.
Another week, another Star Wars announcement that leads to language sighs all over the internet, despite Daisy Ridley saying only a few weeks ago that the Rey-focused Star Wars movie was evolving. It did. It evolved into somebody else's trilogy. And
problem.
And we get an update soon. The news came soon after that the next untitled Star Wars film has been yanked from its December 18th, 2026 release date and ignominiously. Thank you. I'm kicked out of 3 high schools. Okay. I'm one of those uneducated voters. Okay. Uneducated.
Hey, Gary, here's how you do it. December 18th, 2026 release date and replaced with. That's all. Just roll past it.
Bro, I do that in my videos a lot. Okay. I actually do that. And replaced with a movie that will do better. Ice Age 6. Whether or not you're excited for a new Ice Age, John fucker, a Renaissance incoming. It's certainly not a great sign that what was supposed to be the crown jewel franchise and Disney's lineup when they purchased the property back in 2012 is now being shoved aside for yet another talking animal movie in 2024.
It'll be better than anything they could shit out for Star Wars.
It will make more money than the Rey movie would. Twice as much money. And yet it's not all surprising. Regardless of anyone's thoughts on the quality of individual projects, the Disney Star Wars. Oh, whoa. Did they just say Disney Star Wars?
Yes, they did.
They just said Disney fucking Star Wars. Era has been rife with corporate mismanagement. Constant. What the hell's going on here?
We are back, baby.
We're speaking your language.
We are to speak the truth finally, Gary. That's what's going on here.
Constant second guessing and an inability to envision a future for the property beyond pilfering from its past. So I'm going to stop right there. If any content creator wants to make a first video, all you have to do is read this article and then search every single Disney Star Wars article by IGN previous to this and show all the contradictions. Saying Star Wars is fine. This is The Last Jedi did subvert expectations, and that's a good thing. Shit like that. You will find it all over the place.
Yep. Well, it's in the same sentence because it says regardless of anyone's thought of the quality of individual projects. But the second half admits that there was a load of mistakes, which meant they were crap. If they were actually good, they wouldn't be mistakes because you would have made all the right decisions. So essentially, by admitting corporate mismanagement, second guessing, and everything else, it basically says that these were terrible things, and you made just like bad movies. Essentially,
it's what Jeremy said earlier. What we said, fucking when The Last Jedi came out, we said when this woke era is over, there's going to be a bunch of mofos coming out going, I was always against it.
Yep.
And an inability to envision a future for the property beyond pilfering the past. It's sad state of affairs, isn't it, though? But it's also what Lucasfilm has been doing for far too long, to the point that it's time we stop giving the company any credence unless they go through a serious realignment.
Wow.
I wonder what they can do.
They finally caught up with the rest of us. Great.
And realign with what? Exactly.
Right. Exactly.
A reboot. They just mean fire a bunch of people at Lucasfilm. That's what they mean,
Yeah, but you have to know where you're going. Like, why are you firing these people? What's wrong with them? And until they actually admit what is wrong, they won't be able to choose the people that need to be fired.
And how high up do you go?
This article does not exist if Kamala wins. I'm just telling you.
No, it doesn't. No, it does not.
Yeah.
Absolutely does not. 100% right. Let's take a look at why we all need to stop paying attention to Star Wars. Do we really want to go on?
Basically, they talk about all of the different movies that have been announced. So they talk about all the different movies that have been announced and then ultimately don't come to fruition, the problems, the changes with directors and writers and blah, 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 all that shit. They even talk about how Star Wars Episode 9 with Rise of Skywalker was like an indication that they were just being reactive and responsive and didn't actually have a clear plan for anything. Dude, now this actual author, if you go all the way back to 2019, early 2020, they wrote some things that were critical of Rise of Skywalker. I don't know how they felt about Last Jedi.
Good. We didn't hear enough of that, though, over the time being, and not from IGN, which can only count to 7 from 7.
You're wrong. Dragon Age Bellegarde, 9.
Oh, my God. I have been fact-checked live on FNT.
I mean, ultimately, it's a combination of things. One, some of these people might be actually finally waking up. I think that's a small portion. And then you've got people, and listen, whether it's media outlets, whether it's content creators who have been sucking the dick of Disney, Star Wars, and lapping up everything they fucking shit out, all of a sudden turn around, they realize the writing is finally on the wall. They can no longer do that. All of a sudden, they start saying exactly the opposite thing. So you got to judge for yourself who you think is being genuine and who you think is full of shit and just doing it because it benefits them at the right time.
When Ryan gets riled up, he blinks fast.
He does.
Ready to blow at any time.
And he talks like Mike Tyson.
Yeah. In Ryan's defense, he was just talking like them. Apathy.
I had a point to make. We're going up.
Oh God, I love seeing this.
Yes.
I absolutely adore it. We're gonna get a lot of that.
The next sentence was the best though, because it said currently set to be directed by Omana Obey Chinoy, as if she's immediately about to be fired. Even then, like, no, she's gonna get her movie cancelled as well and immediately replaced by somebody else.
I still very much like, and me and Ryan have talked about this a lot. I still very much, I just don't see how this Rey movie happens.
Yeah, you don't give them power. You're right.
Now, if you talked about this, Ryan, where you think they might intertwine this into something like this trilogy that was announced potentially.
If you look at all the things Daisy Ridley said weeks before the announcement came out that Stephen Knight had left, and before they made this announcement about the trilogy, she basically told you that this was going to happen. She said, yeah, the film, or maybe now films, the idea is really evolving, but I'm still excited for this and this. This trilogy, Simon Kinberg is writing it. He's not directing it.
Yeah.
Like, don't be surprised if Sharmino Obaid-Chinoy is the director for fucking this Rey trilogy part 1.
Can they cancel it straight up, or do they have to convert it into something else?
Oh, well, one thing we've learned from Kathleen Kennedy, Star Wars, is they can cancel a lot of shit, no matter if they just continue to tell you it's happening. Rian Johnson's trilogy. If you're looking at this as objectively as possible, a Rey movie does not turn the needle at all. I mean, Mandalorian will still turn the needle to some extent, not what it used to, but Mandalorian will still probably get asses in seats to an extent. Rey ain't doing that. Nobody's going to see a fucking Rey movie. That's going to be like Marvel's level. And their internals have got to be telling them this. They have to. Internally, they have to be like, nobody gives a fuck about Rey. Nobody cares.
Make the Rey movie, Nerdrotic's the only one who'll make money.
The action figures aren't selling.
Kroger's is overflowing.
I just don't see how a Rey standalone movie is going to come out. If they want to turn this into like a Captain America Civil War, where they make it like a de facto, trilogy-esque movie, if they bring it up and they've got all of these people in it, but if it's just a centrally focused movie on Rey as a character, I just can't see how I don't see how that happens. I just don't.
We've said it a million times, man. This is the problem Star Wars always faced. I believe Disney completely overpaid for it. Completely. If you want to justify spending that much on merchandising, okay, sure. But characters, Bob Iger came out and said, well, they've got over, how many characters? He said 5,000. I might be going way off on that, but
well, you're not, because you know why? That's the expanded universe.
That is. Yeah. You're right.
All
you're
those
right.
things he talked about, the planets, all of the stuff.
They got rid of it.
Oh, look at how amazing this is. Look how big this world is. He was talking about the expanded universe, which they very quickly just literally put in shit.
Almost. That's almost the first thing they did, Ryan. I know you remember, but the fact of the matter is, with respect to the expanded universe fans, Star Wars is Luke, Han, and Leia, and Darth Vader. That's what it is. That's what it is to most normies. That's what's going to sell to most people. Now, Disney had all the time in the world to build up characters, new ones, and new universes and new villains, and they didn't. So it's a brand.
I don't know if I agree with you that they overpaid for it. I think that, how much they pay for Pixar?
The reason
Pixar was more than Lucasfilm,
George Lucas drove up the price because of how much they spent on Marvel.
I think that
7.4 billion.
Wow.
Yeah, that for Pixar?
For Pixar, 7.4 billion.
So, I mean, I don't know. I feel like it's Star Wars, like with the momentum they had when they first released The Force Awakens and all of that, like if they wouldn't have fucked this up, all these years later, we would still be dealing with billion-dollar movies if they wouldn't have fucked it up.
Okay, and I can give you that. But that's a big if we could have developed, but what they bought was Han, Luke, Leia, and Darth Vader, which is things they couldn't bring back.
I still think the Old Republic is well known enough about gamers that
exactly
also would have floated.
That would have worked. If someone had a quarter of a brain, they could have taken Knights of the Republic with Darth Revan and turned that into a trilogy. And it would have been a new thing that would have brought new fans to Star Wars. They came around 2010. It would have been a license to print money, but they just lacked the brain power.
Yeah, it's just like what they did with Marvel. Like, they didn't have Spider-Man. They took fucking B-list characters and turned them into megastars. But they had, like,
characters that have been around for decades that they could have built up, and they proved it. They did the unthinkable, turning Iron Man into A-list.
Yeah, I mean, and
Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah,
I don't think they overpaid. I think they just shit the bed. I think they put the wrong person in charge of it, obviously, and George signed off on that. So that is what it is. But imagine if they made a fucking normal ass land in Disney.
I know.
That was based on actual Star Wars that people cared about, using those characters you just mentioned. Think of how sought after that would be, that experience.
Ryan, that's
going
bullshit,
there, going to
didn't work for Wizarding World
or shit like that.
Everything that they've done has been disastrous, and these are things that should have turned the needle. Harry Potter is a classic example. You go to the Wizarding World of Harry Potter, you love it. Harry Potter fans love it. People that don't know Harry Potter are intrigued by it, and they have the ability to do that. But there's like this force field around Lucasfilm that just doesn't allow good creative decisions, no matter what. Because as we've seen, you can say whatever you want about Disney as a company. Marvel has still been very, very successful over the last 15 years. Very successful. But there's this fucking force field around Lucasfilm's like, hey, keep those good ideas away from us, guys. It's weird.
As you say, Jeremy, it's leadership. It's Kathleen Kennedy, good producer, worst studio head in the history of Hollywood.
I don't think she's a good producer. I think that bitch put her name on projects with great men that created great projects.
Well,
I don't think she's
married to a good producer too, Frank Marshall.
I don't think she's shit for a producer. There's not a person in the history of existence that went to see Jurassic Park because Kathleen Kennedy was the fucking producer.
I had no idea she was in the mix.
Yeah, I had no idea until later. So
what she is a facilitator. That's all they do.
She's a coffee maker. She's a coffee deliverer.
Which could be under, but
and her knees get a little dirty, if you know what I mean.
and
she's like, okay, hey, let's reach out to this production company to do this fucking thing on set for us. She's not an idea person.
No,
right?
She might also play a similar role that Jeremy Clarkson's wife did, or ex-wife. That he would go around pissing every single person off, and she would go around and make up for them.
Put out the fires.
Just be like, no, we really like you, really. And his career would be nothing unless she went around basically saying sorry to
Jeremy
people.
Clarkson's landman. That's what she was. There.
It's fantastic.
But with Kathleen, I mean, we all know the answer, so we're just gonna wait, and then when she's gone, then the access media will go, well, she should have gone a long time ago. Exactly. Fuck yeah. Okay. All right, piss off. There's a point where you just get it's just too late, and you need to vault the damn thing and forget about it for a little while. Same thing for Star Trek. Is there a possibility sometime in the future these things can be good and go return to form? Sure. That possibility gets less likely every day Kurtzman makes Star Trek and Kathleen Kennedy makes Star Wars. Period. Because people don't care. I mean, how many people are into Buck Rogers and fucking The Shadow and Flash Gordon now, which were huge properties back in the day. I mean, everything ends, and there's still a few people who buy the comic or anything, but it's not like Hollywood's running out to make. I wish they would. No, actually, I don't. I wish sometime in another reality that we get a good Shadow movie, but not from this group.
Nerdrotic.com. Please subscribe.